God's richest blessings to you. This is a Christmas Bible study looking at the two genealogies of Jesus found in Scripture. You'll see them up here split screen for you. From the ESV, you have Matthew 1, 1 to 17, and Luke 3, 23 to 38. These are the two genealogies of Jesus found in Scripture. Now, I would encourage this to be a good Bible study for you to have with a group of people. Have these two genealogies and have maybe even break your large group into smaller groups and have each little group then read these to themselves and discuss what they notice from these two genealogies. Ask what stands out to you. Maybe look for what's similar, look for what's different. If there's differences, why would there be a difference in the genealogy? And then a final question is, are they contradictory? Are there contradictions within these genealogies? And I guarantee you, if you have people in little groups looking at this, especially if they all have their own study Bibles, people sometimes come up to studies with different study Bibles, then different footnotes, different quote answers to what this stuff can mean. A lot of interesting things will bubble up to the surface, and then when you call those little groups together to share their answers, you'll learn a lot from listening to each other. I know that was the experience I had when I led this in person just recently. Well, let me share some of the things that bubble up here. When you look at these, you will see that Matthew's genealogy begins with Abraham and works forward to Jesus. What does this emphasize? Well, Jesus' Judean roots. It ties Jesus to the fulfillment of the promises to Abraham. And in Luke, well, he works backwards from Jesus all the way to Adam. The emphasis here is that Jesus is related to all nations. Although, when you look in Matthew, you see that he will highlight both Rahab, right here, Rahab, and Ruth. Rahab and Ruth being Gentiles, not being ethnically, biologically from Abraham. So already you still see Jesus welcomes the nations. Jesus is still for the nations by that highlighting of these two Gentile women in this lineage, which is emphasizing Jesus' Jewishness. Now here's what's interesting. The names given between King David and Joseph, the stepfather of Jesus, are completely different between the two genealogies. None of the names are the same. Oh no, contradiction! They can't both be true. That's what we would think. But there are some possible resolutions, some possible harmonies we can bring to this. Let me share some of these with you. I believe I got these from these answers. Basically, what I'm going to read right now from gotquestions.org. That's my memory here. I didn't cite where I got this from. Just do some googly searching online, and you'll find all sorts of resolutions from Christian websites. So possible resolutions. Luke names the actual ancestors of Joseph's branch of the family. So the actual ancestors, so the biological ones. Matthew gives a stylized legal line of descent from King David. So verse 16 in Matthew highlights Joseph was the husband of Mary. Right here. Joseph, the husband of Mary. And this genealogy shows Jesus has the proper ancestry to be the Christ. In other words, Matthew is tracing the primary or biological lineage, while Luke is taking into account an occurrence of levirate marriage. If a man died without having any sons, it was tradition for the man's brother to marry the widow and have a son who would carry on the deceased man's name. According to Eusebius' theory, Eusebius, an early church historian, Melchi, found in Luke 3:24, right here, Melchi, the son of Melchi. That's and then in Matthew 1:15, we see Mathan. Were married at different times to the same woman. That's the theory. Melchi and Mathan married at different times to the same woman under this levirate marriage. And tradition names her as Esther. This would make Heli in Luke 3:23 and Jacob in Matthew 1:15 half brothers. Heli then died without a son, and so his half-brother Jacob married Heli's widow, who gave birth to Joseph. This would make Joseph the son of Heli legally and the son of Jacob biologically. Thus, Matthew and Luke are both recording the same genealogy, Joseph's, but Luke follows the legal lineage while Matthew follows the biological. This idea is presented by church historian Eusebius. All right, that's one option. It could stand. Another option for the differences is that Luke is recording Mary's genealogy and Matthew is recording Joseph's. Matthew is following the line of Joseph, Jesus' legal father, through David's son Solomon, while Luke is following the line of Mary, who is Jesus' blood relative, through David's son Nathan. And since there was no specific Koine Greek word for son-in-law, Joseph was called the son of Heli by marriage to Mary, Heli's daughter. Fun times. So you can't say Joseph the son-in-law in Greek. You can only say Joseph the son. So when it says the son, or the father of, that Joseph was the son of, that's what they had to say. It could be actually saying son-in-law. Very interesting answer. This highlights that either through Mary or Joseph's lineage, Jesus is a descendant of David and therefore eligible to be the Messiah, both legally and biologically. He has both covered. Tracing a genealogy through the mother's side is unusual, but so was the virgin birth, was it not? Luke's explanation that Jesus was the son of Joseph, so it was thought, Luke 3:23. Jesus, when he began his ministry, was about 30 years of age, being the son, as was supposed, of Joseph. All right? The son of Heli. And so that's the kind of the cue there to let you know that this is actually tracing Mary's lineage. Was supposed the son of Joseph, the son, and the explanation here is that this is the same, could mean to better be understood as son-in-law, being cued off by this as was supposed as well. Either way, we get that Jesus is a descendant of David. That's rather key here. Also, something of note, when you look at Matthew, you see Rahab, Ruth, the wife of Uriah. You see, and Joseph, the husband of Mary. You see women name dropped in Matthew's lineage, which is, and if you look at these women, they had some, well, like with Rahab, she actually was a prostitute. Scripture says that. So you see these women who, in cases like Rahab, was a prostitute but had faith, and you can see that even though because of her sinful position in life, she was brought into the lineage of Jesus through her faith, and was then one of the ancestors of Jesus, the Messiah. Wonderful, fun stuff, guys. A lot can be had from this comparison and discussion. I encourage you to do this study on your own, maybe in a group or by yourself. Dig into this a lot more. See what you can find. I know genealogies are things that we typically want to just skip over when we see it in Scripture, but when you slow down, pay attention, a lot can be found, especially if the genealogies may be found elsewhere in Scripture recorded by someone else. And then you do the comparisons and you go, why might there be similarities? Why might there be differences? Why would one just go from Abraham to Jesus and the other one go from Jesus to Adam? What's being shown there? What's being illustrated? Fun times, guys. Christmas is a wonderful time and the year, and I believe it's a wonderful time in the church year, and there's a lot that we can study in Scripture concerning the Christmas narrative. Peace be with you.